The night was heavy. The moon hid behind the clouds, and the village square was silent. In the far end of the compound, women wailed. Men sat with bowed heads, and the smell of burning palm fronds filled the air. On a bamboo mat lay Chaik, his body still, his face calm, but his spirit gone. At his side knelt a woman in fine wrapper and golden earrings. Her tears flowed like a broken calabash of water. She cried, "Chaik! Oh Chaik! Forgive me. I should have waited. I should have stayed." But her words floated into the night, unheard. The man she once loved had been buried by sorrow before death even touched him. The old village storyteller rose, leaned on his walking stick, and said to the children gathered by the fire, "Come closer and listen. This is not just the story of Chaik and Amora. This is the story of how love can sweeten the tongue like honey, but also burn the heart like pepper when betrayal enters." Long ago, in Umuaka village, there lived a young man named Chaik. He was tall and strong, with hands that walked the soil from sunrise to sunset. His heart was full of dreams, but his pockets were always empty. Chaik loved a young woman named Amora, the daughter of Momangozi. Amora was beautiful, her laughter was like music, her skin glowed like morning sun on palm oil, and her eyes held a promise of tomorrow. They were inseparable. Together, they walked to the river to fetch water. Together, they roasted corn by the roadside. Together, they spoke about the future, a small hut, children running in the yard, and peace between them. But dreams do not cook food. Amora's family began to ask questions. Chaik loves you, yes. But what can he offer you? Where are the goats, the yams, the clothes, the palm wine for marriage rites? Chaik promised Amora, "My love, wait for me. I will go to the city. I will work until my sweat turns to rivers. I will bring you comfort, and I will pay your bride price." Amora, moved by his words, agreed, "I will wait." After some time Chaik went to the city. The city was cruel. Chaik became a laborer, carrying blocks on his head, mixing cement until his hands cracked like dry earth. He slept under unfinished buildings. Rain beat him, mosquitoes beat him, and hunger lived with him. Yet every market day, Chaik sent something back, small coins, a measure of rice, sometimes even nothing but a letter saying, "Amora, hold on. I am coming." His love was pure. But pure love does not fill an empty stomach. Back in the village, Amora waited. At first, she was strong. But time is a heavy load. Her friends married men who gave them fine wrappers, beaded necklaces, and shoes that clicked on the ground. They carried babies on their backs, while Amora waited with an empty hand. Then came Obi, a trader. He returned from the city with a car that smoked like a bushfire, but it was his word that spoke loudest. He gave Amora bags of rice, tins of milk, golden earrings, even a... She loved Chaik, but poverty was like a knife cutting her hope each day. At last, she gave in. One evening, she left her mother's hut and followed Obi to his large house. When Chaik returned from the city after months of struggle, his hands carried only a small bag of bread and palm oil. His heart carried dreams of reunion. He ran to Amora's hut, but the room was empty. "Where is Amora?" he asked the neighbors. They looked at him with pity. "He has gone. She now stays with Obi." The words hit Chaik like a spear. He staggered to the riverbank where they once sat together. He stared at the water and wept like a child. Days turned to weeks. Chaik worked less. He stopped eating well. His once strong body became thin like broomsticks. He fainted in the market, and the people rushed to fan him, but when he opened his eyes, he whispered only one name: Amora. At last, sickness took him. Meanwhile, Amora wore fine clothes, but her joy was empty. Obi's wealth was heavy with pride. One day, in anger, Obi struck her. She ran back to her mother's hut, crying. Regret filled her heart. She went to see Chaik. But by the time she arrived, Chaik was lying weak on his mat. His eyes were dim, his voice faint. Yet he still looked at her with love and said, Amora, I kept my promise. I worked for us, but you could not wait. Tears ran down her cheeks, but before she could speak, Chaik's eyes closed forever. That night, Umweka village mourned. The moon stayed hidden, as if it too was ashamed. The elders shook their heads and said, Love is patient, but when weighed against riches, only the strong-hearted survive. Poverty can wound a man, but betrayal can kill him. And so, the story of Chaik and Amora was passed down from mouth to mouth, from firelight to firelight, as a warning. True love does not die from hunger, but it can die from betrayal. Moral: love is more than gifts and wealth. To betray it is to bury the heart alive. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe for more. Thanks.